Hello all, my name is Preeti Kaur, Assistant Professor English, Jaipur Engineering College. In today's video lecture, we are going to deal with the grammar part that is called active and passive voice. So let's talk. Passive voice. So what is passive voice and why we use passive? The first thing is to emphasize the object or party receiving the action. For example, Rebecca was selected for a gift. Or to emphasize the action instead of the actor. For example, our car was repaired by our neighbor. It is also used when the agent or the doer is unknown. Our house was broken into last night. When the agent is unimportant, for example, gas prices were raised again last week. And it is also used to be discreet or tactful by not naming the agent. For example, the keys were misplaced again. So let's talk about active and passive voice structure. So there are two main rules to all passive voice forms. The first thing is add the verb be in the same tense as the sentence in its active voice form. And second, use the past participle form of the main verb. It means always use third form. So there are two additional rules for the passive voice. First one is in continuous or progressive tense sentences, add the continuous form of be, which is being. For example, more homes are being built this year. Second, in all perfect tenses and perfect models, use the past participle form of be, which is been. For example, gifts have been given out already. Now, let's have the structure of simple present. If we have simple present in our active voice, for example, I walk the dogs every day. So, in our passive voice, we will make the dogs are walked every day. If we have in active voice, millions of people watch the Super Bowl. Now, in passive voice, the Super Bowl is watched by millions of people. People write many letters to the president. Many letters are written to the president. Now, let's talk about present continuous. For example, I am walking the dogs, and in passive voice, the dogs are being walked. Millions of people are watching the Super Bowl, and in passive voice, it is the Super Bowl is being watched by millions of people. Example, people are writing many letters to the president, and many letters are being written to the president. Let's have simple past tense. So, in active voice, we have I walk the dogs, and we will make it in a passive voice, it is the dogs were walked. Another example is million of people watched the Super Bowl. In passive voice, it will be the Super Bowl was watched by millions of people. Another example is people wrote many letters to the president, and in passive voice, it would be many letters were written to the president. Now, let's see present perfect tense. So, let's see in active voice, there's an example. I have walked the dogs already. In passive voice, we have the dogs have been walked already. Another example is millions of people have watched the Super Bowl. And the answer is the Super Bowl has been watched by millions of people. Next example is people were written many letters to the president, and passive voices many letters have been written to the president. Now let's talk that how modals will change in our passive voice. For example, I should walk the dogs every day. In passive voice, the dogs should B walked every day. Another example, more people should have watched the Super Bowl. Answer is the Super Bowl should have been watched by more people. Now, another example, people should write letters to the president, and the passive voice is letters should be written to the president. So, this was the active and passive voice in a very short way. Thank you for watching.